here I am sitting on the bench, kind of rotting away while the 18, 19-year-olds get to play, right? If they ask me, hey, do you want to be the bench player, or do you want us to trade you to a team where you can play? And I was thinking about, my age and injuries and opportunities in pickleball going forward, and the fact that the team embraced me.
And did that young, super talented squad listen to your advice? Were they good?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Still, to this day, probably the hardest loss that I've ever had involved in pickleball. It still bothers me to think about it. I wouldn't say every hour, but definitely every day. I do think about it every day.
Pickleball Fountain of Youth with Hall of Famer Steve Paranto.
Hey, this is Steve Paranto with the Pickleball Fountain of Youth. Today's episode, I have a very special guest and professional pickleball player, longtime pickleball friend, at least in the years of, pickleball years, longtime friend. I have Erik Lange. Welcome, Erik.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Tell us how you got started in this sport.
I was working for Head Sports. Head is a tennis and tennis ball company. They decided to make pickleball paddles. In May of 2017 was when we first started to release, I think it was called the Radical Paddle at the time. And I was on a sales call actually at Pickleball Central, and I was trying to explain what pickleball was and what the shots were. And they knew that I didn't know what I was talking about. So it was obvious I needed to play the sport to be able to sell the sport properly.
Yeah.
And so started playing in May of 2017 and have played pretty much every day since.
Yeah. That probably was the first year then. Now, I want to see if you remember the first day we met.
Gosh, I know you prepped me for this question, and I've been thinking about it, and it had to be in 2017 at some point. I tend to think it's maybe a local drop-in somewhere where you were present. I didn't know you were there. I honestly don't know. You'll have to tell me.
Curtis brought you to my house.
Oh, okay, of course. I remember, yes, I think Rob Davidson might have been there.
Maybe, yeah.
I do remember the court right alongside
we were close.
The sliding glass door.
And we shot lots of instructional videos on that
I think you were still drinking beer at that time too, right?
I used, every video had a beer somewhere hidden. It was the little thing you had to hunt for. Where's Steve's beer?
Right, you're brewing beer, I guess, out in the garage.
Right.
And, I remember your man cave, and that was quite the place.
Now I have a
large man cave.
A very large man cave at the Paranto Playhouse. Yeah, it's just a dream come true. But we were playing pickleball in my backyard.
Yep.
Curtis brought you.
Now I remember.
Yeah. Had you known Curtis very long at that point?
No, I couldn't. I think I met him probably at Wilsonville's drop-in advanced session at some point in the summer of 2017 would be my guess. I met all the pickleball people May of 2017 and afterwards. And Curtis turned out to be a very good friend there for a while, and he moved away to Utah fairly recently, but was a partner there for a while too of mine. So
yeah, he was one of our top players.
He was.
And he had some special talents of switching hands.
He did.
That, it's funny, but when you think about it, at that time period, the three best players in the world that switched hands were all from here. Can you name those three?
Yeah, Wes, Enrique, and Curtis.
Yeah.
Of course, they're learning from each other as well, right?
Yeah.
So that had to do something with it. But yeah, and they're both incredible players.
Well, 2017, that was the year my dad was inducted in the Pickleball Hall of Fame. And did you play at what was the first nationals you played in?
I went to nationals in 2017 just to see what it was about. Because by that time I was already addicted, clearly, which is only about 6 months after I started playing. So I just went there. It was actually located in Casa Grande, Arizona, which was very close to where Head was located in Phoenix. And so that's why I had gone to nationals. I played rec games. I actually saw Ben Johns there for the first time, played with him, played with Brian Ashworth, so I got to meet some of I think Dave Weinbach was out making noise, doing stuff. It was a time where pre-tournament, everybody would gather and play. I know. It was the best time because there were, it wasn't as professional as it is now, right? People were there to have a good time and see their friends, and it's less about, the recovery and the good night's sleep. It was more like, let's just have fun.
We always would go to dinner.
Yeah.
The day before was rec play with whoever you could play with.
Yeah.
And I don't know if does that still go on?
No, it doesn't. It does
At least
not.
at the pro level.
Not at the pro level. Definitely not. I mean, you have different like factions of people, and some people don't want to stay away from others so that they can protect, the integrity of their own game. So there's a lot of other elements at play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, people do try to get practice with your partner for the next day or or like maybe a mixed day or something. So that happens, but that's something you usually schedule ahead of time to make sure you get proper practice.
In those days, I remember we would often play practice games with the guys we're going to play against in the tournament the very next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where nowadays on the Pro Tour, you probably don't do that.
You don't want to do that. No, not ideally.
Because you don't want to give away your style or what?
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep everything new and fresh, and there are times where certainly you practice with a team and then the draw is jumbled and you happen to be playing that same team once the draw comes out, right? But yeah, you usually try to pick somebody, like if you're one of the better teams, and let's say you have a newer partnership, you want to pick a team that maybe isn't quite as good, which allows you to work on things and build your confidence heading into a tournament day. So a lot of mind games to get yourself in the right headspace.
Yeah, I understand that. Your first success at Nationals was fairly early. I remember sitting in the stands 2019, and were you bronze or silver that year in the Open?
2019 was silver. It was with Steve Deacon.
Right.
We played Ben Johns and Kyle Yates in the final and lost fairly competitive games, but they definitely had our number that day. But it was a great tournament, one of my better tournament results, and it was a big field. I think there were 62 teams. And the setting was amazing, right? Indian Wells.
Indian Wells was so nice.
Thousands of people. Weather's beautiful. A real professional event. That was kind of pre-PPA, pre-APP.
It was.
One of the last kind of big independent events.
I forgot who you played in the finals. That when you think about that, those are two
Yeah.
legends in the sport. I mean, you have one that's still considered the number one player in the world, and Kyle Yates, who's in the Hall of Fame now.
I go back and I watch that match, and Ben was by far the best player on the court, but everyone has improved so much since those days, right? Of course, the paddles have changed, the way people are training has changed, but the shot selection, the type, the type of shots people hit with the paddles that they now have, it's just like today's pros would beat 2019's pros 11-0, 11-0, or something like that. I mean, it's improved dramatically.
I tell people that today's top women would beat the men in that time period.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, today's top women are impressive. I have the ability to coach Anna and Kate with the St. Louis Shock, and I mean, there are times we do 2-on-1 drills, and I feel like I'm under a lot of pressure. Right? They're very talented. They're very good. Anna Bright actually has a newsletter where she talks about how the game is changing, and the women's game is becoming more like the men's game. And I agree. I think as the athletes get better and people start experimenting with new ideas, that their games can improve. And it's not just women don't have to play a certain way and men don't have to play a certain way. Like the whole meta is changing for pickleball.
You are a former MLP champion.
Yeah, so I guess
talk about that first.
Nationals was amazing in 2019, and then I think maybe the highlight for me personally was the 2023 MLP Championship. It was the second half of the season, and it wasn't just winning that was rewarding. It was more the way that we got there. So for me, I've always been pretty strong at men's doubles. But to win the title, I was playing with Ben Johns in men's, and we actually lost a bunch of our matches. We weren't a very good men's team relative to the other men's teams, but I ended up playing mixed with Lacey Schneeman was my partner. Jesse Irvin was the other player on the team, and Lacey and I carried us through in mixed, and we got some wins, some upset wins. Played some singles and Dream Breakers and managed to scratch out a few points, and ended up winning the MLP Championship for the second half of 2023. And so that was kind of that moment where I'm like, okay, this finally feels like I won something. I didn't get second place or third place. I actually won the title. had a big role. And of course, Ben is Ben, right? Ben is one of the best players of all time, if not the best, and carried us at different points throughout the final couple of days. But it was an amazing experience, and being part of a team and sharing that with the team was pretty cool. My daughter was there in San Clemente watching alongside. So yeah, special experience.
I was watching on TV and loving it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I think I texted you right after the...
I got a lot of texts.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the point where you decided this is going to be my full-time occupation?
It was actually before that. It was June of 2023. And I was playing professional pickleball tournaments kind of part-time, probably 12 to 14 per year. Full-time schedule is typically about 25 per year. And I was working for Head, as I had mentioned at the time, about 10 years, and I was just ready to do something new. And pickleball had gotten to the point where contracts and the ability to earn prize money, and even the sport itself, like there were so many opportunities in pickleball. I really enjoyed the sport, so I figured one way or another I could figure out how to make a career out of either playing, coaching, getting involved in the industry. I have a background in racket sports, obviously, so I had a lot of knowledge and contacts in pickleball, and so I just made the decision that I wanted to quit my normal job, and obviously very supportive of my wife and my family to kind of let me pursue this passion. And it happened to be right when the tour wars then started. Tour wars being between PPA and MLP at the time. And so then contracts started to go up, and the ability to actually make a career out of pickleball for a couple hundred people was there. So the timing was fortuitous for sure.
Yeah, and you're glad. I mean, this is a decision that you haven't looked back.
No, the moment I made the decision, I knew it was the right move, regardless of if it turned out financially well or not. I was ready to make a change. And pickleball was there, and it's something I really enjoyed. So for me, it wasn't even a decision. It was pretty straightforward.
I remember you telling me, because you were a very good junior tennis player, and you kind of got a little bit burnt out on tennis and did not play collegiate tennis, and that was part of the decision you made on being a professional pickleball player. Is you missed out on.
Yeah,
and then
I felt I still had some years of competition left in me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I spent all this time playing junior tennis up until about 18 or so, and went to college. And I wouldn't have been a D1 college player. I could have played D2 or something. And I still enjoyed competing. And so pickleball was another chance to do that. And so that's why I still like competing today. I felt like I missed out on those 4 years of college tennis. In some ways, probably saved my body. Because that's for most of the guys that have played college tennis, it's such a grind. And yes, they get a lot better, but they're also, they have injuries that they wouldn't have had they not played. So maybe it's helped me extend my pickleball career a little longer.
The last 2 years, I've had a blast following you and Max on the APP. Tell us about that doubles combination, you and Max, and what that's been like to be, winning on the APP.
Yeah, so I would say, we mentioned the MLP championship and the 2019 Nationals. I'd say the third kind of important, if you just look at results, an important result was winning the Newport Beach tournament with Max in 2024. For those that don't know, he goes by Purple Jesus. Yeah. Max is opposite me. He's a little bit younger. He played college tennis. He's extremely athletic. He's shorter. He's fast. He's quick. He's multilingual. I mean, the guy is he's almost everything that I'm not. but I'm things that he's not as well, right? Like I have a family. I have two kids. I had a normal job. I own a home. Like all of these things that Max doesn't do, not yet at least.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of an odd combination, but we just mesh really, really well. And the chemistry is just there. Like he walks into the room and I'm happy he's there, And I think it's the same for him. That really helps us on court. We've got a lot of court time together. We practice together a lot. First time meeting Max was actually in this building, inside the Playhouse. So, thanks to you set that one up. But Max is, special and unique. and has been a tremendous partner, a tremendous person. So yeah, it's been a great partnership.
The way I met Max, I was with Rob at his Rise pickleball camps in Bainbridge Island. It's so fun, here you get to teach a camp where the sport was invented.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. And Max was involved in an exhibition that I was in with Rob Davidson and another instructor. So I never knew, this is a few years ago. This is 5 years ago. And before he, maybe before the Peace Corps thing he did.
Okay.
But anyway, this kid is really talented, and what I was impressed by was the amount of power he get with a compact swing. Because I'm always impressed when someone can do that. Because they're doing a lot of things correctly when they can do that.
Yeah.
Because the ball's coming, that ball, and this is before today's technology paddles. This is Gen 2 paddles. So, had a good time with them on the court, and then we went and did a field trip to the original court. And I know the owner is Scott Stover, who I played against in the 70s. So we get a field trip to the court. We're using wood paddles, and Max was my partner.
Okay.
And so
good choice in partners.
Yeah. And we're playing the other instructors, I believe. But I'm 1-0 on the original court.
Okay, nice.
And then I've got this nice picture of us posing with our wooden paddles.
That's great.
And this is before Max was known as Purple
sure.
Jesus. I just knew him as this really talented potential player.
Right.
And then I'm watching some of these YouTube matches where, hey, there's Max. And this guy's got some talent. So I texted him and said, looks like you're getting, in fact, he was beating Aiden, our local, in a couple of tournaments. So this guy's good. I wonder if he needs a partner, and you needed a partner.
Yeah.
And so I texted him, and then you had you guys meet and see if you hit it off.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that works really well for us is Max is quick and gets to lots of balls, and it creates a lot of offense where I'm maybe not as quick. I'm long, so I can counter balls and do some things that are more maybe under control, but he's kind of the crazy wild one, and I'm more the stable rock sort of. And so the combination of the two, at least over the last year and a half, has been really, really good,
Yeah.
And so I think our styles mesh quite well. And he's a terrific mixed doubles player. He likes chaos. He thrives when he's kind of on the move.
Yeah, he does some things that other people don't do. I mean, I was watching you guys when you were here drilling, meeting each other the first time, and I was kind of listening. I think I was upstairs working on something, and I remember hearing you say, "So Max, why is it that when I'm returning serve, you're not up?
Yeah.
You're back with me."
Right.
And I heard him say, "Because I like to be moving."
Yeah, right.
And that's his style. And the other thing that is a big plus is he can make a line call for you.
Right.
When someone's serving to you. Because when you're returning serve, you don't want to make a bad line call,
Sure.
but you also want to be focused on the ball.
I've gotten to know Max well enough where he has a reason for doing the things that he does. Sometimes when you just look at him on the court, he looks like he's maybe not paying attention or he looks kind of out of it, but he's actually locked in, and he has a reason for doing all of the things that he does. So I've learned not to question his well, I question because I'm curious.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But
well, you were curious.
He has a reason always for what he's doing.
Yeah.
Food choices, decisions on court, methods of travel. I mean, there's a reason behind everything.
When you say methods of travel, does he
he likes to take the Greyhound bus so he can talk to people.
Oh, really?
I mean, this guy is a unique individual.
Yeah. So. I looked up more about his tennis background. I believe he never lost a high school tennis match.
I think he won 4 state championships at the highest level in Washington State.
Yeah, at one of the Kent schools.
Yeah, All-American at the University of Washington. I think what he said was he got to the point in tennis where he just wasn't quite tall enough, and he had guys just serving big serves, bombs at him that he can't effectively return. So he did everything he could with his physical limitations to try to get him involved in a match.
Right.
And where pickleball comes in is that you can't serve overhand, right? So it's kind of an equalizer for him, and he can use all of the other skills that he's so good at. And so I think with pickleball, he's obviously thriving. Great tennis player too, but thriving in pickleball. And we had a terrific 2024 MLP season on the SoCal Hard Eights. a lot of fun experiences together. So I'm glad he got
Yeah, you guys
involved.
were on the same team. I was excited to see that too. That was a fun.
Yeah, I convinced our owner. I'm like, you got to draft this guy. Number one, I like him because he's my friend. Number two, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
So thankfully they made the right decision.
Yeah, and he speeds up a lot of balls off bounces.
He does.
And you know he's going to.
We played enough times now.
And you
where
probably even know which ball he's going to speed up. Yeah.
Pretty much. There are times it still surprises me. But I'm like I mentioned, I'm more of the rock. So I don't mind him creating the offense and me just finding ways to occasionally get involved and hold down my 45% of the court.
Yeah. A lot of, I believe that the Thunder Punch is named after you, correct? Was one of the Who was commentating that day? They called it the Thunder. You were just on fire with the backhand punch.
I don't know if it was Wes in that particular match. I'm not sure, but yeah, one of my favorite shots is someone speeds up the ball and it's anywhere near this backhand zone is to hammer it back pretty hard with the backhand punch. So people know that, so they try to find me over here sometimes too. But yeah, I'm usually pretty effective at just countering with the backhand side and even coming across with the backhand side.
Yeah.
Just it feels natural for whatever reason.
Yeah, and that's why it's called the Thunder Punch.
Yeah.
On the back of your shirts, I don't know if you guys are still wearing it, but I got a kick out of it, where yours said
Bang Bang.
Bang Bang.
Yeah.
And Max's said Jesus.
It was a nickname from Rick at SoCal Hard Eights.
Okay.
And so he liked to call me that. So we decided to put it on a bunch of shirts that we wore at the APP.
Yeah.
So I don't have it much on there anymore, but it served its purpose there for a while.
So you brought Max in with all the Oregon boys practicing at Travis's. And I know that a lot of you attribute Travis to a lot of your success. Tell us about that gang working at Travis's and practicing.
Travis Rude, located in Vancouver, Washington, which was the location was important because we would get, if Max would come down from Tacoma where he lived, it's about a 2-hour drive from Tacoma. If it was down to Wilsonville or somewhere further south, I think it would have been too tough to do that as often as we did. But Max would come down usually a couple times a week.
Twice a week, wow.
We had a number of local guys, right? We had Wes, we had Erik Rosner, Stefan Andren, Aiden Shank, Clayton Powell, Will Gardner, probably forgetting a person or two. But big group would meet at Travis's once or twice a week, and Travis would help coach us. Then we'd obviously spar with each other. So really helped the whole group get Spencer Lanier helped the whole group get better quickly. And since a number of the people have kind of traveled to international destinations, they've traveled to Florida, they're kind of spreading their wings as people do. They gain girlfriends apparently, so that takes them away. So I'm still here. Wes is still here. Will Gardner has been teaching down in Salem. So we need a new crop. We need to find some new people.
That hurts me a little bit when we coach these kids up. And I was involved in coaching Aiden. And so now he's in Florida. And his dad's still one of my really good buddies that plays here with my senior group. And that's how I met Aiden, was playing with Dad first. In fact, we were playing on the roof during COVID at Multnomah Athletic Club.
Oh, wow.
About once a week.
Yeah.
And Jim, Aiden's dad, one day says, "Can I bring my 13-year-old next week?" And I'm thinking, oh, okay.
Sure.
But he's okay. He can play with us. And then by the time he's 15, 16, he probably was tired of playing with us.
Sure.
But it's been so fun watching his progress. He did win his team won the Indian Open. He's won an APP with Jack Monroe. Him and Clayton are usually
top four seed.
Yep. And both of them now have moved to Florida. So we are losing, especially our young players. Why is it they're going to Florida?
It's where the top players are at. Unfortunately, it's not in rainy Oregon. It's in a warmer climate where probably half the tournaments are located. And I mean, iron sharpens iron, right? So if you're down there training with the best players, you're going to get better. So the tough part about doing that is that you have to be self-motivated. You have to be able to, organize your schedule and make sure that you're doing the things you need to do, because you're now on your own. You're now in this new state, and you have to try to figure out how do you plan your progress, plan your course so that you can continue improving and not get sidetracked. And I think it's I've not done that. I've not moved to
And
Florida.
they're 19-year-olds.
And they're 19, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a very difficult thing to do. I think a bunch of them together will help because they'll help keep each other kind of focused. But who knows? I see them usually once a month or so on the APP, and they are still getting better at pickleball. And they're getting older and becoming young men. So yeah, I mean, I think they're enjoying themselves while also keeping it pickleball focused. So I think so far so good. It's been necessary for them to grow as players.
Yeah, I remember when Aiden was probably 17, just hoping he could play with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now he's beating us.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean he's incredibly athletic, moves really well, unconventional style.
Yeah.
It goes to show that, and this is probably the biggest thing I've learned over the last couple years is, not one style, not one approach works. It can be so many different ways to win.
Right.
And so you can't put down one person's choice of shot selection because maybe today it's not working, but in a couple of months it could be the new way people play. So the sport continues to change. You have to keep an open mind and embrace different approaches to the game.
Right. A few weeks back, the Kawamoto sisters won. I forget which tournament they won. Cincinnati. I thought, in fact, I've had many of my students, higher level students that I'm giving that are working on the transitional area a lot. Their homework has been, I want you to watch their semi and their final. What I was so impressed with these ladies was their quick decision making. Am I going to reset this ball out of the air, or am I going to be aggressive with this ball out of the air? And if you watch them, it made this much difference in height. Made a difference if they were attacking or they're resetting.
Yeah.
And quick decision making.
Yeah.
How do you teach that? Lots of drills.
Those two, they live in Ohio. I think their main drilling partner is each other.
Yeah.
What they do so well is the variety in their shots. So they will, Jade will bump a ball up the line and then she'll bump a lob, or she just mixes it around. Jackie does the same thing. Obviously, Jade's left-handed, Jackie's right-handed. And so they're very good at giving variety to the opponent. And their net clearance is usually quite high. Like they're just getting the ball back.
Lots of good resets.
Yes. That particular tournament, it's their first PPA title for both of them, which I thought was also shocking. Yeah. Because they're such good players.
You could have made a lot of. I think that was one you could actually wager on.
Oh, really?
Can you imagine if you would have?
Yeah, but how do
I think they had a 2% chance of winning.
How do you choose them against Anna Lee and Anna Bright? And they did come way back in that particular match to win it. But I mean, they play so much together. They drill together. It was their home tournament. They're using Yola paddles for the first time, which also is kind of interesting.
That would, to me, I would say that would lower your chances when it's not your paddle.
Right, you would think. So maybe it's the sweet spot size that's helping them as well. Yeah. I don't know, but all these things aligned, and they snuck out the match in the semifinal and then also the final, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm sure for them it's their highlight of their career was winning that match together in their home state as a sister pair. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of paddles, here they had to make an adjustment on the fly because their paddle, I think it's Pickle, where they
were using
Proton.
Proton.
Okay, Proton wasn't allowed. UPA UPA disallowed those that week. Yep. Some people were, I guess, kind of caught off guard. I don't know if they should have been or not. Speaking of paddles, tell me your points of view on we know the game is so much more powerful and spinny than it used to be. Have we gone too far? Do we need to tone it back? Should we go farther forward? Tell me on spin and power. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'll try not to give you the 2017 version. I mean, yes, I think if you dial things way back, me as a player, I'm going to be more competitive today. But I don't think that's what's best for the sport. I actually think it's more entertaining when there's more spin, when there's more power. So I don't think it's 2017 level power. But I also don't think it's 2025 level power. I think when you can aim for someone's body and you're going to hit them most of the time and they can't react, I think that's too much. It makes the game not as fun. It's fun to have the hands battles where you have a little more time to react and actually get the counter back, as opposed to the point just being over. Or when somebody's hitting an overhead and you want to give Tyra a chance to actually get it back. Like those longer points are fun. And so maybe the power today is a little too much. I think the spin is about right, to be honest. There are certain shots you can't hit in pickleball that you can hit in tennis, because tennis you have strings, right? So I don't think it should be that gritty. But I think the spin's right. I think the power's a little too much. So I would dial that back slightly. But it's close. It's close, because I think we want what's also appealing for the spectator,
Right.
To make the game exciting.
And sometimes you don't know until you've gone too far.
Right.
I mean, that's how you find out. And I'm in the same camp you are. I think we've gone just a smudge too far. Now the trick is, how do we stop these paddles from, in the Wild Wild West, where I'm not playing pro, so I'm playing amateur tournaments where you have no idea if that guy's paddle is delaminated, or maybe it passed. It's passed.
Right.
Well, yeah, but it's not playing like it did the day you bought it.
Yeah.
How do we solve that problem?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I go to rec courts all the time, and I hear the sound of a delaminated paddle. I'm like, wow, look at that thing.
Yeah.
But no one seems to know. No one seems to care. Maybe they don't comment on it. Whatever the reason is, like, there are some people that are using paddles they shouldn't be using, that aren't being tested because they're not regular tournament players.
Yeah.
So maybe eventually the technology and the paddles will get to a place that they don't some of them don't delaminate as much, and then the amateur consumer, who doesn't know any better in some cases, won't have that issue.
Because in the world of tennis, there's no such thing as a racket you buy getting more powerful, correct? I mean, it just depends how you string them.
Right. I mean, you can string it to lower tension, and it's going to give you more power, but it's going to play terribly, so you know that something's wrong with it. With pickleball, like, you get a powerful paddle, and you're hammering your shots, and for a while there, it feels great. So you're hesitant to want to do anything different because you're probably winning your amateur game.
Yeah. Related to that, new studies have been released where 40% of the serious eye injuries in pickleball have occurred in the last year.
Okay. Not surprising, right?
I mean, yeah, and there's two things contributing to that. We have vast more people playing, so there's going to more chance of that. But the speed of the ball coming off, and so medical associations are suggesting requirements for eye gear. What do you think about being required to wear eye gear?
No, I don't think you can require it. I think there'll be a lot of people that just decide that I'm not going to wear eyewear. I'm not going to wear, and it's on them at that point. I tend to wear eyewear most of the time. There are times that I don't. If it's a warmer climate and the ball's softer and I have more time to react, sometimes I won't wear it. But if I'm playing indoors and it's 50 degrees and it's cold and the ball's rock hard and it's flying through the air, I might decide to wear eyewear. So it's a personal decision. I think even at the pro level, it's still a personal decision.
Well, right now it is. But what if, let's say, PPA next year comes out with a rule it's required?
Yeah, I mean, we have had one eye injury. Jeannie Bouchard actually was injured. But I can't recall another one that's been kind of a higher profile eye injury from a player. So I think until that happens, I don't think the PPA will require it. I mean, I think maybe they should, and I think everyone would then comply. And there are some, I don't know what percentage, maybe it's 20% of the players choose to wear eyewear right now as it is. And maybe in singles you don't need it, but in certain doubles you probably do. Maybe if you're the female in mixed doubles, you're used to getting the ball sped up at you, maybe you should wear it. So there are a lot of these different decisions that kind of go into it. But to require it, I don't know. I just think you'll have people not choosing to participate in wearing eyewear.
So we're 14 feet from each other.
I know.
And what do you think the fastest, I mean, I haven't seen measurements lately of what the fastest a ball is coming off a paddle, 65, 75, 70 miles an hour?
The hardest a person can serve is about 70.
About 70,
right?
Yeah.
So you have to think if someone really takes a whack at a speed up, or maybe something out of the air, especially the ball's coming hard and they're hammering it back. I mean, it could come at you at 70, 75, 80 miles an hour. So yeah, if it hits you just right, you don't adjust, and you can't get out of the way, then it can cause some real damage.
I do wear eye gear when I play, and I think it possibly saved an eye about 8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think amateurs have a chance of getting hit in the head or the face more than the pros.
Absolutely.
Because this instance where I got hit, my partner threw up a lob to the person straight in front of them. So the ball's high.
Yeah.
Where do I put my paddle? Down low.
Sure.
And they
just hit the overhead right at your face.
They didn't mean to, but
Sure.
it went right into my face.
Yeah.
Glasses broke, you know, and saved my left eye.
Wow.
My $200 glasses were busted.
Yeah.
But it saved an eye.
Well, I can tell you that when I take my son, who's 15, to play pickleball with me, I make sure he's wearing eyewear. And I wear eyewear just to be the good example.
Sure.
But I would feel awful, terrible if something happened to him, you know, on the court, just getting hit by the ball, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would like my kids to wear eyewear. I think I should be wearing eyewear most of the time. I don't always do, like I said, but it's probably a good thing. I just don't think it's going to be required.
I think it's going to be required, and
I hope so.
and I think clubs like Rex, where I teach, and you've taught there, are going. If it's required, if it's recommended, I think the clubs are going to have to say you have to wear them.
Yeah, maybe there's some liability.
Unless there's a waiver
sure.
you sign where, you know, okay, when you lose your eye, it's not on us.
We probably have signed that waiver.
We probably have.
Actually, you probably had me sign the waiver for your place.
Yeah. I have a waiver here.
I know.
Right. Yeah. So, speaking of paddles, you have been working with a company that is getting involved in the paddle. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the last year and a half, I've been working with Ping, well-known golf company, and so their desire was to get involved in pickleball. They hired a guy named Ben Simons, who I worked with at Head. Ben brought me on as kind of a pro player advisor type role, and so yeah, I've been helping them design paddles, R&D, just kind of keep an eye on the category, connect with the players, and so once Ping has, and they've been getting close, but once they have a paddle that we feel is sufficient for launching, we will, and then we'll sign a bunch of players and spend some marketing dollars and get further involved in the industry. But yeah, they put courts in at their complex in Phoenix.
Wow.
They have 7 or 8 full-time dedicated pickleball employees. So they're
that's a big successful golf company.
Yeah. So they're really investing heavily in the sport, and you know, I think it's gonna be something great. It's just taking a little while to get it going and do it the way that they do, which is heavy R&D, heavy engineering, understanding all the different principles that go into producing.
So do they have the equipment like UPA does and Selkirk Sports does too?
Yep.
Where they have the cannon?
Pretty much all of it. We're acquiring some more stuff as well to help build out their testing facility.
So they can make, because I think those companies are going to have to, because they've got to make a paddle that goes right up to that power and spin limit.
Yep.
You have to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as a pro player, you don't want anything that doesn't meet the limit.
Right.
I mean, you want to be right there. And if I know that I can't get as much spin as, say, another player, like, it's already in my head. Like, I can't hit a topspin backhand the way that person is because my paddle doesn't have enough spin. And honestly, I felt that way using the previous brand for a number of years.
Well, I was with you when you were your contract ran out.
Yeah.
And you were experimenting with several paddles.
Right. So then I could, you know, try the latest and greatest of, and even right now, while I'm working with Ping, I can use whatever brand I want while we're working on a new paddle. So you know, I try RPM, I try Selkirk boomsticks, I try the Pro XR paddles, the Yolas obviously, and so I actually think where most companies are at is they're pretty similar. Like, we've got paddles now that have a lot of power, a big sweet spot, the allowable spin limit. So the differences between what some of the top players are using are not as big as they once were.
That's what I want. I want to see that, where we don't know who's going to win a match just by the paddle they're using.
Right.
And that's what I really liked the Vintage Wood Tournament about a month ago.
Yep.
Because everybody was on equal ground.
Yep.
In fact, they even had all of them had the same wooden paddle. Even.
Yep.
And it wasn't
Yep.
like you had a better wooden
Yep.
paddle. They all had the same wooden paddle. And did you watch much of that?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. What's interesting is that the wood tournament, so if you compared, like we mentioned 2019, so if you take 2019's players and gave them wood paddles versus 2025's players and gave them wood paddles, the 2025's players, I mean, the athletes are so much better.
Yeah.
The shot selection's different, not necessarily better, just different. And players have gotten so much better.
Yeah. I thought they adjusted really well to the wood paddles.
Absolutely. You know, and they're still trying some of the new shots, realizing they don't quite work, and so they adjust them slightly to make them work with the wood paddle. So yeah, I mean, players adapt and they figure out a way to still make it work.
Right. It wasn't a surprise to me that JW and Dylan Frazier won the men's doubles.
Very patient doubles.
Very patient, which you had to be more with that paddle. Now, a lot of people ask me who was going to win because I played in the wood era, but the one thing they're missing is we also played with a slow, non-spinny ball also. So it was even dialed back another whole level in my era, a wood and a 26-hole pattern ball.
Right.
We did not we really didn't spin the ball.
Sure. Even like the Jugs indoor ball.
Yeah, that's
with like the paddles that we had in 2019, 2020, you still couldn't spin it very much, right, on a wood floor.
No.
And so you're just kind of hitting this marshmallow back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, much different style.
Yeah. Also, I want to know your role this year. You played on a very talented MLP team. You got drafted, but you wound up being really the coach.
Yeah.
Wow, what an opportunity to coach 4 young stars.
Sure. Yeah.
So name your players and what that was like.
So the team is the St. Louis Shock, owned by the Chaffetz family. They're out of St. Louis. And the players on the team were Anna Bright, Kate Fahey, all-time winningest tennis player at Michigan. Anna is one of the top tennis recruits out of high school, went to Cal, to Berkeley. And then the 2 boys were Gabe Tardio and Hayden Patriquin. So yeah, extremely talented team. We went 24-1 during the season, the regular season. Lost in the semis of the New York City finals. Still, to this day, probably the hardest loss that I've ever had involved in pickleball. It still bothers me to think about it. I wouldn't say every hour, but definitely every day. I do think about it every day. We have a tournament coming up here soon that hopefully we can have some redemption. It's actually next week in Dallas.
Oh, really? The same team?
The whole group is there, all 16
really?
teams.
So I didn't know
it's called the
that.
MLP Cup.
Oh.
Yep. So that'll be
okay.
fun to
now
learn about.
Now I think a lot contributing to that loss. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but you guys are playing out on a rolled out surface that was hard to attack off a bounce. I'm guessing because they stayed lower.
Correct.
And you're playing some long, I think.
Andre Diascu
and CJ Klinger, long, tall,
Yep.
and their advantage is getting balls out of the air to attack, where they could wait for that.
Yep.
You guys couldn't reach a lot of those balls.
Right.
Yeah.
It definitely played a role.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, Columbus, the Sliders played extremely well throughout really all the playoffs, all the rounds. They beat Dallas, they beat us, and they beat the Fives, the three best teams on paper. And so yeah, it was partially the lack of bounce from the court. I think Andre is a great team leader on the Columbus squad. So has multiple MLP championships. So he got his team really fired up in the right way. We just unfortunately didn't have our best when it mattered most. And so there are a lot of different reasons for that. Number one, I think it's just because Columbus played so well. So yeah, it's something we've been trying to figure out how to change for this upcoming season.
Was that in New York?
Yes.
So that's exciting.
It was amazing.
You guys,
Central Park.
Central Park.
It's at Woolman Rink, which is an ice skating rink during the wintertime.
Right.
That they put down just temporary courts on. There are courts there like during the springtime and summertime for the New York City residents to play on. But yeah, the venue is fantastic, and that's one of the great things with MLP is they've had these tournaments at different venues that are really cool. The Chaffetz Arena in St. Louis
I saw that.
was fantastic. Every team had a suite up above.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I mean the experience with MLP and coaching, like I was drafted. I had a 2-year MLP contract. I played my first year in 2024. as part of the SoCal Hard Eights in the Challenger League. Was drafted, to this team as the bench player to go in case somebody got injured. And honestly, I was disappointed. I wanted to play. It was my last year of my MLP contract. I wanted to play against the best players. And here I am sitting on the bench, kind of rotting away while the 18, 19-year-olds get to play, right? And so I had a couple ways of approaching it. They asked me, hey, do you want to be the bench player, or do you want us to trade you to a team where you can play? And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about, my age and injuries and opportunities in pickleball going forward. And I was like, okay, I think, and the fact that the team embraced me as kind of, I knew all of them before, but really got to know them better while I was helping them. And so, felt kind of a connection to the 4 team members. And so decided to do the coaching thing and help them as much as I could kind of throughout the year in an unofficial coach sort of way. And so really glad I stayed, and, launching another part of we talked about getting involved in pickleball in ways other than just the court. So the coaching side has been really interesting.
And did that young, super talented squad listen to your advice? Were they good at...
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I also said the wrong thing sometimes too. There are times where I would say something and Anna would tell me, I don't need to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Right? So, oops, okay, so I obviously slipped up there, right?
Was it because you stated things in a negative way rather than what give an example.
So in New York City, between the 2 matches, when we played Columbus, you play 2 out of 3 matches. We lost the first one, okay? So we were on the practice court. We were getting ready for the second match. And I reminded the team, hey, you guys are good. You're 24-1 in the regular season. Like, you're the best team out there. And she's like, I don't want to hear that. I want you to tell me that I did poorly and I need to get my shit together, right? And so that's what she wanted to hear.
But then someone else might want to hear something else.
Exactly. But Kate, right, came up to me a couple minutes later and goes, I wanted to hear that. I want to hear that. So different things motivate players differently, right? And so I'm trying to learn, and that goes to becoming a good coach and knowing your players, knowing what motivates them. And so clearly I have some work still to do with my own team.
That's a unique situation, though, because you're talking to the team.
Yeah.
Where I could see if you're individually coaching someone, you could get the hang of what this person needs to hear.
Yeah.
So, I'm still so excited that my Oregon Team Cup won, and there's a couple of kids that I coached since they were young teenagers, 14, 15-year-old. Yeah. And the thing that I told them, it came down to, we're in the finals, and if we win this one doubles match, we win. If we lose, it goes Dream Breaker. We had a very good Dream Breaker team. That's one of the reasons I drafted this team. It was all singles and Dream Breaker. Yeah. But I told Tanner and David Yang, as great as we are at Dream Breaker, I want to be positive. We're going to win this now. We're not going Dream Breaker. And then they won it.
Sure,
so,
yeah, right.
So I was thinking, in my head, what would be something that I should say to them? And I'm glad I said it because, here it's been a day since the Seattle Mariners got put out of the World Series.
Right.
And I was up in Seattle the day they were up 3-2.
Yeah.
And everybody on the talk radio, we're going to win one of those 2. We're going to win. Right. If I was their coach, I'd say, we're going to win the next one.
Yeah, right.
Not one of 2.
Sure.
Because then what do? You lose that one, and then it comes down to the last one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I can't imagine what Dan Wilson had to say to his team in the Seattle Mariners, locker room as before they're about to depart.
Yeah.
It's just a tough position to be in. But honestly, it kind of felt that way after we lost in the semifinals of NYC. We had all these expectations. We were the number 1 seed. We were the best team in the regular season, really by a stretch. We were playing really well, and we just got beat twice, fairly convincingly. So it was a tough pill for everyone to swallow. Definitely some things we want to change going into the upcoming season. But still a great experience, and I'm still learning how to coach and interact with the team and having a great time while I'm doing it. So.
Is that where you see yourself at? You are 44 years old.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now in the world of pickleball?
Yeah. I'm still playing professional tournaments, still ranked pretty highly on the APP, but I can also see that injuries can play a role, right? So I'm doing everything I can to take it easy on my body, maybe not even play every day, just do some other stuff, non-pickleball stuff like stretching and extra whatever off-court fitness, so that when I do play, I can play longer. But there is a limit, I think, on competing at the top level. So I'd like to continue playing for as long as I can. I'd like to continue in the pickleball industry in one way or another, whether it's coaching, advising a company, or playing professionally. And we've heard that there are some new leagues forming that may involve 35 plus, 40 plus, and then there's some international opportunities as well. So I'm playing in the World Pickleball League in India in January.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So opportunities like that mixed in with the coaching thing, I think will provide me my runway for the next couple of years. And who knows where pickleball's going to go, to be honest with you.
Well, this international thing is the next thing blowing up with all the Asian countries, India. That's going to be a great experience. I mean, you're going to see the world if you want to.
Yeah, and I do. I mean, that's one of the best things. I mean, pickleball is fun, but I also want to, when I'm 80, I want to think back to that time when, I traveled to England for the English Open, or the MLP Championship in San Clemente, or India, for the World Pickleball League. So just those experiences and the friendships with everybody, I think are the things I'll remember.
Yeah. Well, speaking of friendships, I saw Kate Fahey. She's just got married, correct?
She did.
And they were interviewing her about her wedding coming up, and who are you inviting? And she mentioned that I invited Erik and his wife, but they can't make it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's an example of the bonds you develop in this.
Yeah.
This
no,
sport.
I mean it's. I think that helps the team too, right? When you feel that connection with people, you're playing for more than just winning. You're playing because you care about the other people and you want to do well for them too. So yeah, I think that's what helps to make a really strong team.
Yeah. Lastly, what advice would you give right now to an Erik, a younger Erik Lange who's just entering pickleball? You know everything you know now. So you're
How
talking
old am I?
So now you're 40. Well, no. So you're 2017.
Okay.
When you first started pickleball,
Yep.
and now all the experience you've got as Erik Lange, the pro APP player, MLP champion.
Yep.
What would you tell the 2017 Erik Lange?
That's a good question. I would have done more in social media, maybe hired someone to help with social media. I would have traveled more internationally and tried to build more of a brand that way, as opposed to just focusing on the U.S. And I would actually drill less. I think I've spent a lot of time drilling certain shots, and it's been good, but when you get into match situations, you have to be adaptable, and the game has changed so much that all the time I've spent at the kitchen line maybe isn't as helpful for me now, because the game is won with serves and returns and transition work. And yes, you have to get to the kitchen line, but I felt like the amount of time I've spent during certain parts of my career, like say at the kitchen line versus other parts of the court, could have been done differently, more efficiently. So international, social media, and then maybe approaching the drilling sessions a little differently.
Would that also be save wear and tear on your body? We had Stefan Andren on this, and he talked about just how hard it was on his body. He may have drilled too much too. I think he'll even tell you.
He's 120% with everything he does.
Yeah.
Right. So just an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that kind of dedication that he has, but that also could be why he's injured right now. I'm not sure. He just pushes himself so hard.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and he would. It's the constant tournaments and travel and sleep, and he had a full-time job as well, which
that's really hard
there's
to mix.
a lot to balance.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we've got a number of juniors, kids now that are in Florida, as we talked about, and so for them, it's the balance of everything that's going to determine, I think, if they can really kind of prove successful.
So you just made me think of something. You're talking about all the drilling you did at the kitchen, and now the serve and the return to serve being big.
Yep.
Would that just mean you would drill a lot more in that particular area?
I feel like my return to serve is poor. It's barely adequate, and so I don't hit my returns as cleanly as I need to. I don't put them in the spot that I want, and so I would have spent a lot more time returning serves, moving across the court efficiently. Some of the footwork drills are so important now, and I feel like my own footwork is maybe not as good as it could be. So yeah, there are lots of ways that I would change my own practice habits.
So since the serve is becoming so big, what kind of technique are you seeing, or do you foresee being the technique to return these big serves? Is it going to be more compact, but still accelerating and getting power? What's it going to be?
Yeah, it's definitely compact. I think it's you're going to have people continuing to push the limits on serves. I actually don't think we pushed it enough. You don't have referees calling people for service faults as much as they could be if people were pushing it further, right? There was that stretch maybe about a year ago. Where
I do see them say warning, servo. I mean,
but not very often.
Yeah.
You know, I probably played in this year in APP. I played 10 tournaments, and I don't think I've been called on a service violation more than 3 times, which clearly means I'm not pushing the limits enough.
Or the ref's afraid to call it. I just talked to a group of referees that said, I can't tell if it's legal or not, so I don't call it.
And so I'm an idiot because I'm not pushing it as much as I should. I can hit my serve harder and higher, and try to take advantage of that. And there are some players that do a better job of that on the APP. Will Howells is one of them. He serves pretty high, but it's not being called. And I honestly I need to do more of that until it's called. But yeah, I think serves. And then the returns, making sure they're deep or with spin. We talked about variety and how not one approach works. So mixing in different approaches on the returns, but being able to handle the really hard serves and then maybe get to the side you need to be on if you're stacking. So serves, returns, and then transition. I actually like the way Kwang Duong approached it. And so he would, if you watch much of him play, he just hammers ball. Max does a lot of the same thing, but hammers balls through transition, right? He rarely resets. He's often ripping the ball. And it works sometimes. It's a very aggressive style.
Yeah.
But I think the combination of the two where, like, in the past when I would drill, I would always reset. I would never attack through transition. Like on my backhand side, I don't really have a two-handed attack through transition. And so it's those types of things that I would have added to my game that had I seen where the game was going, I would have been more flexible with.
I think it's going to be hard to get through an entire tournament attacking in the transitional area, because I do think it's hit and miss. I think it's going to be hard to beat everybody doing that. Someone your height, I want you to reset and get to the kitchen, because now it's your advantage. You're going to get more balls out of it.
But if I do that every time, it's predictable, right? Yeah. So I think it's a mix. It's a mix of the two. When Max is driving his thirds, I need to be crashing more often than I am.
Right, and crowding middle.
And crowding the middle. Yeah. And so we talked about some of the physical limitations. That's where it gets a little tougher, right? Like getting over there quickly enough. When I'm driving and Max is crossing, he gets there quickly, right? So it's getting big, and like look at Christian Alshon. He actually does a really good job of it from the right side. So
getting to the left side, if he has to unwind, are you talking about?
Well, of being aggressive from the right side and maybe even staying on the right side. Like when he plays with Andre Diescu and Andre drives a third and Christian's lurking in the middle looking to do something with his backhand side. So just the movement, and moving off ball, I think it was a little more stagnant in some of my drill patterns. And matches are messy, you're always... they're unpredictable, and so I probably would have practiced some of those things.
Do you foresee any new shots, or have you seen anything new that Steve Paranto doesn't know anything about? This is what's going to be the next, like when the drip came in.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody had to learn the drip. Now, do you see anything besides attacking from the transitional area?
I mean, lobs have been around forever, right?
But we've been around. We grew up with Enrique, so we know all about lobs.
But they're crucial when people are leaning in heavily at the kitchen line. The ability to lob, and I think Anna Bright had 27 lobs in some recent match over Ben and Anna Lee.
And I think with topspin.
Yes, and most were successful. And so I mean, it's. I think that will continue to be something to mix in. Again, it's not always. It's just occasionally. It's just one added element for the variety. I also think just mixing and matching in the middle. So it's not left side dominant and then right side beta. It's more like sometimes the right side's going to take a lot of court, and sometimes the left side's going to take a lot of. You just mix and match and flow depending on.
I think that's a much harder team to play against. They can do
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
I think like for Max and I typically play the right. He typically plays the left. We as a team probably need to be more versatile with having me on the left and him on the right. If the situation is not working, for example, versus Will Howells and Jack Monroe, we've lost 5 or 6 times in a row. We've never beaten that team. They have a certain strategy to beating us, and what we're doing is clearly not working. And so mixing it up so that we're not doing the same thing and losing the same way over and over is something we need to change. Easier said than done, but yeah, I mean, as a younger player, being comfortable on both sides, being flexible. For an MLP team, being able to play both sides and be flexible with whoever the team drafts is a big selling point to drafting a player.
Did you like, this year you guys went to side-out scoring from rally scoring. Which did you prefer for MLP?
I liked rally because it was different from side-out scoring, and you knew exactly how long a match would last typically.
Do you think it changes how the game's played at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think people should still go for their serves, still go for their returns, still do all the things that they would have done anyway. It might change it slightly if you have a freeze, and let's say you're serving and you're down by a few points. You can go after your serve more because there's no consequence other than just giving the serve back to the other team. So that could change it slightly, but I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. I get used to it. I mean, when we were playing rally scoring for the Team Cup, I personally, as a senior, I like not needing to unwind my stack when I'm on the right side.
I agree. It was easier for me to just stay on the right, like, okay, this is my side, just go right in. But yeah, no, and that's a good thing about rally scoring. Sorry, about standard scoring is that it's more active. You do have to
play both sides,
which is a big part of the game. So it's crossing and moving and switching and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, this has been a great episode. Talked about, I didn't even have to have my notes out.
Yeah, right?
We were just talking, so thanks for being a guest today, and hope to see you on the court. And
thanks, Steve. Appreciate you having me.
Wonderful episode. Thanks, Erik.
Pickleball Fountain of Youth with Hall of Famer Steve Paranto.